I asked a piece of free software how much a knee replacement would actually cost. Facility, anesthesia, implant, physical therapy, all of it, under a real Medicare Advantage plan. It came back in about a minute and a half with a number. Total estimated out of pocket costs are $805 to $980. And it showed me, line by line, exactly which page of which document it pulled every one of those figures from. If you've ever tried to actually read one of those benefit booklets yourself, 50 some pages of cost sharing tables and footnotes, you know that's not a 5-minute job. This is Honest AI Lab. Today I'm testing whether AI can actually get you through a document like that, not by trusting it blindly, by checking its work. Because the real question with any of this isn't can AI read it, it's can you verify what it told you? If this is useful to you, go ahead and hit subscribe now. I'm posting these every week. The tool is called NotebookLM from Google. The document is a real 2026 Medicare Advantage plan from Aetna. It's just a real, complicated document, and I wanted to see what actually happens when you turn AI loose on it. Here's what happened. Okay, so I'm starting on the NotebookLM homepage. I want to make sure you can see where I'm beginning because I'm not inside one of my existing notebooks. I'm coming in fresh. Now, here's how you create a new notebook. So we click on Create a New Notebook. And that opens a fresh notebook page. And right away, NotebookLM is asking me to add sources. That's the whole concept here. You give it documents, and it works only from those documents. It's not pulling from the internet or guessing. Everything it tells you comes from what you put in. For this episode, I'm going to use a public Medicare Advantage plan from Aetna. I want to be upfront about why. It's not because I'm recommending Aetna or this plan or Medicare Advantage in general. It's purely because Aetna posts their plan documents publicly, so you don't have to log in to see them. That makes it a good teaching example. This is not insurance advice. This is not Medicare advice. I'm just using real documents to show you how the tool works. So again, you can see here that we've got the Aetna Medicare Advantage Advantra Signature Plus. Like I said, I don't really know much about this plan, but again, here's the web page, and you can see where it's got different things here that we can get access to. It has the summary of benefits, it has the evidence of coverage, it has drug lists, and an annual notice of change. Now I'm going to I'm not going to use the annual notice of change for this because I don't want the information to be confusing, because sometimes that'll show 2025 versus 2026. And we don't really care about what it was in 2025. We just want to see what it is in 2026. So I'm just going to use these three pages, which I've already updated, or I've already opened up on my browser. So what we need to do here, you can see, again, we've got a place where we can add our documents. And you know what a lot of tutorials will do is just have you download all of these individual PDFs onto your computer. That can be a pain to do because then how do you remember where they are located? And it's just painful, and you don't really need to do that. Instead, what we can do is use websites. So if I click websites, now we can literally just paste the links of the websites into here, and we'll add that as our sources. So let's go ahead and do that. So we've got the one 2026 summary of benefits, and we can paste that link, and then we can hit enter, and then we'll do the same thing for Aetna, evidence of coverage for 2026. So this is all the coverage information. We can add that into our page. We'll hit enter. That's all you need to do in order to put in more websites. And then this is the list of formulary drugs. And then we can hit paste. And you can do this again for, oops, I didn't hit enter. There we go. You can do this for any number of documents that you want. I want to say the free plan, you can put it in 50 documents, I want to say. So it gives you a lot of references that you can put in here. So let's go ahead and click insert. And so now what it's doing is it's going out and making sure that it can use and can recognize these documents. And it'll scroll through and confirm that it can read all these documents. Okay, So it's updated the 3 documents, and that, took, only, less than a minute, I think, to actually confirm that it got all of the documents and it's ready to go. And again, so now what we can do is we could actually ask it a direct prompt. Let's say, let's ask it a simple question first, like, how much does it cost? How much does it cost? Oops, how much does it cost to go to the emergency room? And this is pretty simple, and it's going through. And again, it will only look at our documents. It goes through and it's looking through each of those documents, and it's really trying to pinpoint exactly where it is. And boom, there's the answer. The cost for an emergency room visit is $130 copay. This copay is waived if you're admitted to the hospital within 24 hours. You can see here what's really nice about NotebookLM and why I suggest doing it for this type of work is it gives you the references. It shows you exactly where it pulled the information. So let's click on one of these. So we click on one, and it'll show us right here where it found that information. So you can see as we scroll down, emergency care, emergency ambulatory services, $130 copay for emergency care. Cost sharing is waived if you're admitted to the hospital within 24 hours. So you can see it doesn't just pull it, and you can be a little more confident with the hallucinations. Although, again, why not just check it since you can double check its work? So again, it's great information here that'll tell you, okay, here's where I found it, right in the documents. And so it just shows you right there where it's found. One other thing to note real quick, the left-hand panel here is sources. The middle is chat, just like your old chat window on ChatGPT or Claude or whatever you use. This is where you would just do your chatting. And then over here, there's a really powerful area here called Studio. This area, again, is really great if you were like a student and you loaded in a bunch of resources and you wanted to get an audio overview of all those things, or you wanted to do quizzes or flashcards for studying. Again, this is a really powerful area to make customized decks. We're not doing that here in this video. That's not the intent. Maybe that'll be another video I do in the future showing you how to use these, because this pops out really good information for you. But for right now, I'm just going to close it to make my life a little easier. So again, this gives us a little bit more space. So now, again, you can see that and say, okay, that's pretty easy. Okay, so now that was a pretty easy question. What happens if we gave it a much harder one? Because you're probably saying, well, that's simple. I can just look on a card and I can see my $130 for the emergency room visit. So that's not too challenging. I don't need to use NotebookLM for that. Let's ask it a harder question. How about, something like, let's estimate how much it would cost for, excuse me, a knee replacement. So I've already typed that in, so you don't have to watch me type. So again, I'm trying to estimate the total out-of-pocket costs for a possible total knee replacement. Please estimate the costs for the surgeon, facilities, anesthesia, implant, pre-op testing, x-rays, one-night hospital stay or observation stay if needed, post-op prescriptions, and outpatient physical therapy. So this is a much more challenging one, and you'd have to leaf through a lot of the booklets if you were going to try to figure out how much this would cost. So again, it's opening up all the different sources and it's trying to find exactly all of these types of things for a total knee replacement, how much those things would cost. And then again, this output, we would expect to break this down and give us individual things to go look up. Okay, and again, that probably took maybe a minute and a half in order for this to come out with the output. And again, here's what you see. Here's an estimate of your out-of-pocket costs for total knee replacement based on the 2026 Aetna Medicare Advantage Signature Plus. So inpatient hospital stay, $260 per day for 1 to 7 days. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Let's confirm that. So again, we're looking down here and we're seeing, hey, where did it get that? Right here. Inpatient hospital stays, $260 per day. Again, so it's linked. It's directly tied to the documents. We don't have to worry about, hey, did AI hallucinate the information? Because we can go and verify that it didn't hallucinate the information, that it pulled it directly from our documents. And you can see inpatient, outpatient surgery, ambulatory. So it gives you all these different potentials. Anesthesia and implant. Anesthesia supplies are typically included in the cost of your inpatient hospital stay. Pre-op testing, it'll tell us, hey, x-rays are $20 if we needed them. Outpatient physical therapy, $35 copay if you needed physical therapy. Then post-op prescriptions and everything else. So again, you can make up your own. You can go and look and say, oh, how many of this, how many of that will I need? How much does my doctor think I'm going to have? And you could go out and get that information. This also reminds us that our maximum out of pocket is $5,500. So, that's all great. And again, you can go and get all those and put your own plan together. But let's do this. Say, I would like you to estimate how much this surgery would cost, assuming an average number of PT events for this type of surgery. So now it's literally going to go in and try to estimate this. Now, what'll be interesting is there won't be something in here that's going to tell it how to estimate. It won't tell us how to do this because it's not directly linked to the documents. But because we've told it what we want it to do, let's see how it responds. Okay. To estimate your total out-of-pocket costs, we need to factor in your physical therapy visits along with facility imaging and lab costs. So again, it warns us, which is great. Please note that provided sources do not state the medical standard for the average number of PT visits for a total knee replacement. So it's warned us, hey, I wasn't able to find this in the document. I needed to go out and go look on outside sources. And I'm going to say that we should take 15 to 20. So it warned us, hey, this isn't directly from documents inside your thing. I went out to the web, or I found what the average is. Again, so it can do a mix of concepts. Most of the time, it'll be anchored to exactly what we ask it. If it's not going to be anchored, it's going to warn us and say it's not anchored with something in our documents. But we wanted to do that because we wanted to just find out, hey, what do we think this thing's going to cost? So it told us physical therapy, told us the facility or surgeon costs, the x-rays, pre-op labs, post-op prescriptions. So it went off and it said, hey, total estimated out-of-pocket costs are $805 to $980. That's pretty good. It just, in the blink of an eye or a minute and a half, it was able to sit there and tell us what that is. That would have taken me a lot longer to go and look through the actual documents. Okay, here's my honest take on what you just watched. The citations are the real story here. Not that it answered my questions, any chatbot can do that. The fact that I could click on every single number and see the actual page it came from, that's what made me trust the answer enough to use it. When it told me the emergency room copay was $130, I didn't have to take its word for it. I clicked, and there it was, in Aetna's own document. Here's what I like best, though. When I asked it to estimate physical therapy visits for a knee replacement, it didn't just make a number up and hand it to me like a fact. It told me straight out, your documents don't say how many PT visits is typical, so I'm pulling that estimate from outside what you gave me. That's the difference between a tool you can trust and a tool you have to double check on everything. Now the honest limitations. This thing only knows what you put in front of it. Upload the wrong plan year or skip a document, and you'll get an answer that's confidently wrong about the thing in front of you. It just won't be wrong about reading what you gave it. And none of this replaces actually calling your insurance company or your doctor's office before a real procedure. It doesn't replace the real conversation. If you've got a benefits booklet, a pension summary, an estate document, anything with 50 pages of fine print sitting in a drawer somewhere, this is worth 15 minutes of your time. Upload it. Ask it the question you've been putting off. Then click the citation and check it yourself. I'm Bob. This is Honest AI Lab. I'll see you next time.